This man is one of the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives.
Matteo Messina Denaro, l'ultimo padrino in cima alla blacklist.
This is the story of Matteo Messina Denaro, one of the most powerful criminals and gangsters of the Italian mafia.
Parliamo del boss di Cosa Nostra, latitante dal 93.
Messina Denaro continua ad essere un fantasma.
Who is Matteo Messina Denaro? Matteo Messina Denaro, also known as Diabolic, was born on April 26, 1962, in Castelvetrano, located in the province of Trapani, Sicily. His father, Francisco Messina Denaro, was a compandamento in the town where he spent his childhood. Due to his family ties with the mafia, Matteo was surrounded by guns and criminals since he was a kid, leading him to have access to a gun at 14. In the years that followed, Denaro became one of the most ruthless men to ever set foot in Italy, even boasting of having filled an entire cemetery with corpses by himself. Little by little, he began to rise through the ranks of Cosa Nostra, eventually becoming the head of the criminal organization. After taking part in a bloody fight between two sides in 1989, Denaro had his first run-in with the law. That year, he was also accused of murdering Nicola Gonzalez, a hotel owner who complained to an employee of always having these little mafiosos under our feet. Unfortunately, the employee was Messina Denaro's mistress. On another occasion, Denaro ordered to strangle and dissolve in acid the corpse of a 12-year-old boy, the son of a traitor, after keeping him in captivity for 779 days. These acts of unjustifiable evil and cruelty made him a fearsome enemy. In 1992, Messina was part of a mafia group under the orders of Salvatore Rini to silence anti-mafia judge Giovanni Falcone. On May 23, 1992, Falcone was killed in a car bombing near Paloma. A year after the tragedy, Messina Denaro struck again. This time, his target was Vincenzo Milazzo, head of the rival Al Camo clan. When he arrived on the scene, Denaro was not satisfied with just killing Milazzo, so he also strangled Milazzo's 3-month pregnant girlfriend, thus earning his dark reputation. This series of chilling crimes saw the Sicilians slowly turn Cosa Nostra into one of the most feared organizations on the planet. As head of the Castelvetrano clan, Denaro was a key ally of the Corleonesi clan on whom the famous Godfather movie saga was based. On January 15, 1993, following the death of prosecutors Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino, Salvatore Rini was arrested. As a result, the Cosa Nostra embarked on one of its most brutal terrorist campaigns. That's why the remaining mafia bosses, Messina Denaro, Giovanni Brusca, Antonio Glory, Giuseppe Grabiano, Lea Lucia Bagarella, and Gioacchino La Barbera met to devise a strategy that will force the Italian state to withdraw. With the help of the other families, Messina Denaro carried out a series of bombings in Florence, Milan, and Rome that left 10 dead and 93 wounded and affected several cultural heritage centers such as the Uffizi Gallery. After the bombings, Denaro completely disappeared from public view, beginning what would be his 30-year flight from justice from June 1993 until January 16, 2023. According to investigators, he spent time in a hideout between Aspera and Bagheria between 1994 and 1995 with his lover Maria Messi, with whom he went on vacation to Greece under the false name of Matteo Cracocilli. Yet, as the evidence shows, Messina Denaro's appearance was little known, so the police's idea of his face was based exclusively on computer reconstructions. Between 1994 and 1996, the declarations of several mobsters put the Godfather in a bind. Living as a fugitive. During his decades as a wanted man, Messina Denaro managed his affairs by communicating under the pseudonym Alessio through the Pazzini system, which consisted of leaving messages on small pieces of paper. His whereabouts and activities during that time were a complete mystery. Some rumors said that he feared the Cosa Nostra leader had undergone plastic surgery to make himself unrecognizable. After his father's death in November 1998, Mazzini became the capomandamento of Castelvetrano and the surrounding towns, while Picenzo Verga ruled the town of Trapani. Yet, following Vergi's arrest in 2001, Denaro saw this as an opportunity to take control of the mafia in Trapani province. With just 900 men, Diabolic managed to reorganize 20 mafia families in Trapani into a single command separate from the rest of Costa Nostra. This group is today considered one of the major pillars of the Sicilian mafia and is among the most powerful families in Italy. As the police struggled to track him down, Denaro continued to expand his power and increase his wealth through an extensive extortion network in which he forced companies to pay him for protection. Not satisfied with this, he also engaged in international drug trafficking, which caught the attention of the FBI. Although most of his income came from illicit activities, Denaro also had several legitimate businesses and stakes in the chain of Sicilian supermarkets. But unfortunately, not even all the money in the world could stop Denaro from continuing his misdeeds, including the corrupt production of olive oil with cheap African labor. In 2000, Mazzini's mistress Maria Messi was arrested after police found love letters she had exchanged with the criminal and was sentenced to 3 years in prison a year later. On May 6, 2002, Messina Denaro was sentenced to absentia to life imprisonment for his role in the 1993 bombings, while all the security forces continued to wonder about the criminal's whereabouts. As the years went by, people began to lose hope that Messina Denaro would ever be captured. Finally, in 2007, a clue made the police realize they were on the right track. After finding documents linking Sicilian supermarket kingpin Giuseppe Grigo to Messina Denaro in a hideout of former Costa Nostra leader Bernardo Provenzano, they discovered how the mafia laundered its money. So, on November 18, 2008, Italian authorities seized 700 million euros in assets from Giuseppe Grigali traceable to Denaro. The list of assets seized included 12 businesses and 220 real estate properties, including villas, apartment blocks, and 133 land properties. In 2015, Italian prosecutor Teresa Principato, who was on Denaro's trail, said that the gangster had probably managed to elude capture for so long, as he was protected at a very high level. Despite Teresa's statements, she never clarified whether she was referring to the mafia politicians or institutions. However, we can get the idea that he must have had friends in power to have managed to pass so many years unnoticed as a ghost. Although Denaro was on the run, that did not stop him from moving internationally to conduct high-level business. Some reports mention that Denaro had also moved to Brazil, Spain, Great Britain, and Austria, returning to Sicily increasingly irregularly. Although it was becoming increasingly difficult to track him down, the Italian police were determined to put an end to his terror and bring peace to his victims. But how did they manage to corner him? How did Messina Denaro get caught? The manhunt for Messina Denaro was long and complicated, but thanks to telephone interceptions of his relatives, the cross-referencing of data on cancer patients, and a false name led to Denaro's whereabouts. The operation was coordinated by the anti-mafia judges of Sicily and a group of Carabinieri and police officers committed to striking a hard blow at the heart of the Sicilian mafia. For 3 months prior to his capture, investigators had been conducting an intense investigation into the whereabouts of Messina Denaro. However, the criminal was elusive. After analyzing conversations with his family, who provided little information as they knew they were under surveillance, investigators discovered through jokes and hints that Castelvetrano's godfather was seriously ill and had recently undergone 2 surgeries in the Sicilian cities of Marsala and Paloma. One of these surgeries had to be carried out during the COVID, so the resulting information was recorded in the Ministry of Health's central office, which archives all cancer patients' data. So that clue was a key element in catching the mobster. By comparing the information obtained and studying all the patients, the investigators began to filter the list by age, sex, and location until they found Denaro. Among the suspicious names they found was Andrea Bonafede, nephew of one of their most loyal allies. Unfortunately, Denaro made one of the most crucial mistakes of his career. That small mistake would end his era as a mafia leader. Although Denaro pretended to be Andrea Bonafede, the police knew that the real Bonafede was somewhere else instead of in the operating room. That's why on January the 16th, the agents and military waited for Denaro to present himself under the name Andrea Bonafede for a chemotherapy session at the Maddaleni Clinic in Paloma. When the criminal saw the police, he made no attempt to resist and identified himself as Matteo Massini Denaro. This is how the most powerful man in the history of the Sicilian Mafia was finally captured and is now on his way to stand trial.